What's up with my APA family? You guys already know what it is, man. It's your boy L, APA, coming through with another video, man. You guys already know what we're here for, man. As always, try to keep some youngsters, some lessons, try to kick them some lessons, reoffenders as well, dudes like me, you know, they've been in and out all their lives, you know what I'm saying? And those that have successful stories, to hopefully remind them of the things and keep them out, you know? As I record this video, I've been out about 4.5 years, you know, somewhere near that, close to 4.5 years. You know, it's something that I wanted to mention real quick before I tell you about the thumbnail, because it's something that I'm very proud of, something that I've been proud of, you know, and the stories that I kick, my experiences are my reminder of me not having anything in there to go back to, right? And as you can tell by the good old caption, that thumbnail, Mando versus Sana, right? Orange County Mexican Mafia beef. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys, at least in this first video, a little bit about my experiences, where I was at, you know, before I get into the intricate things as far as who was involved and things like that. Obviously, I'm from Orange County, from the city of Santa Ana, down south, maybe about 30 to 35 minutes south of downtown LA. You know, for those of you that don't know my history, you guys already know, man, I grew up in Logan. That's the neighborhood that I was from. I'm always gonna be from that neighborhood. I say was because I'm not active anymore. Even if I would have paroled in good standings type stuff, I still would have been doing what I'm doing right now, you know, after doing those 15 years. So, Mando and Sana, my apologies. So, Mando's from hard times, you know, he's from hard times. He's somebody that, you know, got made in the feds. He got made in the feds, from what I understand. And Sana, obviously, you guys know that he is the original, one of the originals from Orange County. Went on to be the most prominent and powerful one in Orange County. He held Orange County with an iron fist for a very long time. He is from Artesia and from F Troop, Artesia, right? They also got Salvador Park. It is what it is, you know. He was one of the ones that, actually the main one, they called the meeting with everybody, all the gang members in Santana, Orange County, things like that. Went down to Salvador Park in the mid-90s, early to mid-90s. I was a youngster at the time, a super youngster at the time. He pretty much, you know, like I said in my last video, consolidated all the Mexican Mafia affairs in Orange County. No more drive-bys, taxation, everything. Everything got implemented, you know. And it worked towards his advantage, you know. Him and dudes like Art Romo, etc., you know. I've been thinking about getting in deeper to all the stories that I know and the experience that I have with the M members, but we'll see what's up. But this is one that I will speak on right now. So, the county jail, man. Our county jail is very small in a sense. Our county is very small in a sense. Geographically, is very small. But one thing about Orange County, dudes that know, that been on the main line, they know that the Orange County car is deep as hell. For one reason or another, we have a lot of camaradas, a lot of sureños in the prison system that are from Orange County. You know, every yard that I've been on, we've had a lot of us, you know. The second biggest car I would say is LA, third San Diego. Any of these two cars may be bigger than us in a sense, but Orange County, like I said, stands out because we're such a small county geographically that, you know, it is a trip. I just thought that was worth mentioning. But our county jail is ran in a sense where Sana was in control for a very long time. Over the history, he had dudes like Musclehead and Monster, other dudes. I don't want to say too many names. Other dudes that were there. Since we're so close to LA, dudes from LA have tried to go into our county jail and try to take control over things, just to be reminded that you are in Orange County. You're in Orange County. It's yeah, you could call it set tripping, but it is what it is. Orange County's we've always been of the sort that you're not gonna come into our own place and try to dictate our program, even if it's related to MA affairs. So even if a senor tries to go in to Orange County and say like, hey, I'm with the MA, this is and that, no. Eventually, we're going to find a way, or absolutely outright rebel against it. That's just our nature. A lot of the times, because of the Sana thing and the F-Troop thing, a lot of neighborhoods didn't pay rent. They didn't want to pay rent. They chose not to pay rent. Yes, they got green lighted, but they held their own. It wasn't a disrespectful thing. It was just a matter of pride and honor. It was just like, you're not gonna do that shit to us. You know what I'm saying? And especially when you're not following your own rules. You know what I'm saying? Back when Sana was alive, you're not following your own rules. Your homeboys ain't following the rules, and you expect us to follow the rules and shit, and then have the audacity to come in here and charge us renta and shit. Like, come on now. So I'm just conveying what dudes felt like in Orange County, the barrios, especially in Santana. And it was a mess sometimes, meaning we had to go at it with dudes. They had to go at it with dudes, and go against the grain. But it is what it is. So back to Mando and Sana. I just wanted to give you a quick little synopsis of how Orange County is. Our county jails are very vicious. A lot of people would be like, Orange County, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Only those that have been locked up in our county know what's up. And there's the haters from LA, specifically LA, that be like, man, you fools don't do shit. You guys are soft, this and that. Okay, cool. Never say that to the face, but it is what it is. So I was in Corcoran at the time, man, when I first heard of the Mando and Sana beef. And basically, because of the F-Troop control on, by the part of Sana, and him having control of Orange County for so long, let me tell you exactly what the word on the calles was, which is a reliable word, meaning I heard from my homeboys, I was in contact with my homeboys, and obviously they were in contact with other barrios and everything. And basically, man, they were tired of it. They were tired of it. Yeah, the senor handled business. Yes, he was infamous. Out with the old, in with the new. It's basically what this story is about. Mando was one of the newest made members. Not only was it like a state thing against a Fed thing, the senores from the feds, as opposed to the senores from the state. There's always going to be that rift between them, because the senores in the state feel like, just like any other faction, I guess, any other organization, they feel like they're the originators, and the feds is the feds, the state is the state type shit. And Mando tried to pretty much approach Sana and let him know, like, hey, pretty much, hey, where can I work? I'm gonna try to work here, boom, 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 do my thing, bam, bam. From what I understand, Sana tried to tell him pretty much like, okay, stay right here, right there, but you're still under me type shit. But homeboy he wasn't taking none of that, Obviously, he knows that he had a lot of support, a lot of dissension, a lot of camaradas were tired of Sana. They were tired of the F-Troop monopoly. So Mando knew this. So when Sana tried to tell him like this and that, he's like, hey, we're carnales. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be even. We're supposed to be on the same level. We're brothers. We're the same. In reality, come on now, there's Mexican mafia members that are more powerful than the ones that are not. Even though in theory they're supposed to be equal, but they're not. You know, they work their things by crews. If you don't have support, you don't have nothing. And if you don't have money, you don't have support. And that's basically what it boiled down to. But Mando had support. You know, he had support not only from the homies, the camaradas, the sureños from Orange County that were fed up with Sana's freaking monopoly, like I said, his empirical rule, his dictatorship. A lot of dudes that are already working for Mando, plugged in with him, doing his bidding, pretty much didn't hesitate to back him up completely, you know? And that's what happened. Mando stepped up. He's like, okay, well, check this out. You're telling me I have to do this, and that. Guess what? You're my carnal. We're supposed to be even. Now I'm going to do whatever I want, you know? I'm not going to step on your toes type shit, but I'm going to take care of what I need to take care of in my city and wherever areas. And that's how it started. You know, that's where it started. He stepped up to him and said, Chales, you're my carnal. We're equals. And may the best man win type shit. He knew, you know, it's not like he didn't know that this shit was going to spark a fucking war. You know, how that war was going to look. Obviously, now in hindsight, we know how it turned out. But he gained momentum, you know. And Mando had the county jail at times. Sana had the county jail at times. And depending on what time I was in Corcoran, in New Corcoran at the time. New Corcoran was the longest prison I've ever been to. My second longest prison was Kern Valley, and 180. Both are 180s, level 4s. That I was in New Corcoran at the time. I had just got done doing the shoe in Centinela on the 270 down south. So when I got to New Corcoran, that's where I started hearing, started making phone calls. And I started hearing from the camaradas. And you know, like, I was tripping out on this shit, you know. Güero from Verdugo and Turi from Cuca had Corcoran at the time. They were in Corcoran shoe right there. Before I went to Corcoran shoe. They were right there. And basically, the camaradas from Orange County that were hitting the county jail, that had been in prison and things like that, were basically being hit up. Like, hey, what's up? Who you rocking with? Mando or Sana? And I tripped out when I heard that because, like, what the fuck? Like, this is a time of war. And anybody that said Sana, and it happened to be a Mando pod or Mando dorm module, that was a wrap. They were getting blasted off the tier, off the pod, in the dorm, wherever you landed. Vice versa, if you were for Mando and it was a Sana tier, you guys get the point. You were getting blasted off, and that's how I went. The camaradas were in there being forced to take sides, the ones that didn't know any better. Those who had been in prison, that weren't getting mixed up in the politica, obviously you're going to speak on yours. For instance, if you were to hit the county, you've been in prison, and they ask you that question, hey, look, I'm a Sureño, homeboy. Who has it right here? Because that's who I support. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Sureño, I'm a soldado, that's it. I don't get involved with the politics. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was. But that being said, if you wouldn't want to take sides, you know, eventually they're going to find a reason to put you on a jale, or at least you weren't going to be in good graces type shit. They weren't going to blast you or anything like that, but they would know that, hey, we can't count on this food type shit, you know? So that's how it went on for a while. A lot of dudes got blasted, man. A lot of dudes got blasted on either side. I had a couple of my homeboys, my older homeboys, they took Mando's side, and Mando was winning. Mando, look, man, let me keep it real. For anybody that doesn't know, and I'm pretty sure you guys probably haven't heard this anywhere, Mando won that war. Mando won that war up until the fucking 11th hour. What happened? Those of you that already know, you know. Those of you that don't. And I remember being, this went on for years. At the time, I had actually went down to Pleasant Valley, and I had a homeboy, my celly, with some hard times, and we had a cell phone there, and he kept asking me like, "Hey, Looney, hey, check this out, man. I know you're in contact, so and so, whatever." He's like, "Hey, I need you to find out." Well, hey, look, guys, I'm not an important dude. I was always plugged in because my neighborhood is old. I have a lot of homeboys that were plugged in, working for Mondo and things like that, and those were my homeboys. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was privy to this information. You know, and obviously, whenever they wanted to send something to the yard, we were hitting and things like that, I would do so. And that's what it was. I was always just like a middleman, trying to a facilitator. You know what I'm saying? So, but my celly, he was some hard times. But since the war was going on, he didn't know whether to back up Mondo or not. And I kept telling him, like, the time, like, look, bro, money is power. You know, and power buys you support. You know, money buys you support. He's like, what would you do? And I told him, look, man, what would I do? Me, first and foremost, I don't get involved in shit like that, and I don't put my eggs in one basket. But if I were to do that, it would only be if one of my homeboys from my neighborhood was a made man. And if he was a made man and I was making money, because we were making money there, I would throw in all my support for him, for better or for worse. And I told him, whoever wins or loses this war, it's a wrap. If he loses, because make no mistake about it, man, Mondo had a lot of respect. Why? Sana was very feared. And anybody that knows what the fuck I'm talking about, you know, for my county, for my city, especially my city, he was feared. And nobody had the balls to step up to this old man, and for rightfully so, until Mondo did so. And just by him doing that, he gained a lot of support. And he had a big team supporting him. So that's what I told him. Look, man, for better or for worse, if you sue my neighborhood, man, say less. You know, say no more. You know what I'm saying? And he never did. He stayed on the sidelines. And, you know, fortunately for him, it was a good thing in hindsight. So, like I said, for those of you that know, what ended up transpiring? Sana, man. Sana's one of them dudes that you can't mess with that man if you're not going to come correct, in a sense where if you don't have no skeletons in your closet. Unfortunately, Mondo had a skeleton in his closet. You know, was he a child molester? No, he wasn't. Was he a rapist? No, he wasn't. Was he a snitch? No, he wasn't. But unfortunately for him, he had ran around with some Crips, Cripples, and at the time, blacks. And whether he was actually from that gang or just was in there with those Crips doing whatever against Mexicans, that was his downfall. Sana found the paperwork. This paperwork surfaced, and basically Mondo was part of a case where Crips, blacks, most importantly, Crips or Bloods doesn't matter, blacks, most importantly, attacked Browns. That was Mondo's downfall. It's something that happened in his juvenile years, something that was probably a couple decades in his past. Never mind that he went on to do what he did and become a made member. Never mind all the work that he put in. Never mind all the money that he made for the organization. Never mind any of that. Optics, political propaganda. Sana was a master at that. And he was able to overcome his enemy because of that case. But up until that moment, Mondo was winning that war. And Mondo was going to win that war. And as a result, Sana lost a lot of juice with his own brothers. Make no mistake about it, guys. I'm telling you this because I was there. I was there through the whole thing, meaning like hearing everything, talking to certain senores, things like that. And the way that war and the heat that came down from that war, it was in the news and everything. It was bad for Sana. It was bad for Sana optically within the brothers. Obviously, the brothers, some of them were waiting to see whether Armando was going to be victorious or not, which I believe they felt he was. That's why they let it go on. Both individuals were clipped to a certain extent, meaning they couldn't do things in certain areas. For those of you who know what the hell that means, you know what it means. But like I said, ultimately, Sana was victorious, but he was never the same. Politically and powerfully, he was never the same across the state. In Orange County, he was, but not throughout the state. To the point that dudes couldn't even really push a line while they were working for Sana on the yard. And that's all I'll say on that. Maybe I'll do another video on that later. Like I said, I don't really like talk about this shit, but you know, it is my county, and who better else to shed some light on some of this stuff that's already been adjudicated over a decade, 2 decades long ago. You know, so I hope I shed some light on this shit. Obviously, there's gonna be people that have issue with it, but like I said, all this has already been said and done. And I wanted to highlight that for anybody that's ever talked about this that's not from Orange County or Santana. I'm not saying in the sense like, hey, how dare you talk about this? No, none of that. Hey, anybody could talk about anything. I respect it. I appreciate all channels. I support all channels. Hopefully you guys do your thing. But I'm coming from a perspective intimately from my city, and from being in contact with these cats, and how it was perceived in our city, our county, intimately in prison, you know, being politically affiliated. You know, with that being said, you guys already know, youngsters, don't ever get caught up in this type of stuff. One life saved is one life blessed. A smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from other people's mistakes. You guys be good. APA, I'm out. There's more coming. Hit those likes.